me click it. I have seen QR codes on websites. And I scanned the code. Do you know where it took me? To the website that I was just on. Except on the website on my phone, it's not mobile friendly, so I can't even now read the website properly. Every time somebody scans a QR code and it doesn't work, a kitten dies. That's your fault, by the way. It's not mine. But in all seriousness, every time somebody scans a QR code and it doesn't work, they're less likely to scan the next one. Does that make sense? We're hurting QR codes. We're hurting our industry by using them inappropriately. I have seen QR codes on bananas. Bananas. The little oval sticker you see on the banana, like a Chiquita banana or something like that. The entire thing was a QR code with a little font that said, scan for smoothie recipe. I'm like, oh, well played. And I take my phone and I scan it looking for the smoothie recipe, and a video pops up on my phone. I'm like, all right, well done. And it pops up and I press play and it says, sorry, not playable on a mobile device. The only thing that scans QR codes is mobile devices. Nobody's taking their PC and flipping it upside down, scanning your banana circus for you. Stop it. Stop doing these. Stop doing this. There's a plane pulling a QR code banner. Like, what? Slow your plane down. I want to scan your not working QR code. One of you in this room approved this, by the way. I don't know who, but one of you did, and I will figure this out. Stop. I don't want to know what the conversation was to approve this banner, but it hurts me inside. We need to stop doing these. We need to stop doing this. This is the QR code pet tag. So what this is, if you look, that cat is psychotic, by the way. It is staring into my soul and plotting my death right now. I have 2 cats at home. They're both going to kill me eventually, right? Psycho. Why would you choose that cat with a pug beside it? Like, this is, he's going to put him first. So, what this is there's no phone number on the tag. It's a QR code, and on the flip side is a website as well you could go to. So if you find a lost pet, so if you lose Rex, or Satan, if you lose one of these pets, a stranger is supposed to go up to your pet with their phone, and you hold it by its neck for 2 to 7 minutes. People say, well, you can do that with cats. Have you ever held a cat down? It will kill you. And here's the problem. You look at it, and no phone number, by the way. So here's the logic I'm thinking that we didn't think this through. Here's your data for you, okay? 85% of people in North America have a cell phone. 50% of those phones are capable of scanning a QR code, because 50% of those are smartphones. 17% of those 50% have ever scanned a QR code or could recognize one and know what it means. Half of those were ever successful and would ever scan a QR code again, which gives us a grand total of 3.6% of people total in North America could save your frickin' dog if he was lost. And that is compared to if you put a phone number, 99% of people can call a phone number with their phone. With a 1% variance in there, by the way. Which would you put your pet with? Stop it! Stop looking cool. Do you understand what I mean now by saying we're using them to show that we're using them? They don't even work. They don't even work. And we're using them because they look cool. They're taking up so much of our ad space and so much of our banner space out there. And we're not even using them. Think before you do. I have a heart attack. I love QR codes. I think they're phenomenal, the potential. But until smartphones with cameras, until they can just recognize QR codes by themselves without any extra apps, until that happens, we're not going to be at the point where we need to be with QR codes. Stop doing this. This is a QR code in the back of a bus. in Atlanta, okay, that says, scan here to view emergency room wait times and hold your place in the ER because you just rear-ended the bus? You know how close you have to drive to scan this thing? I had somebody else in the audience once say, that's not for people driving, it's for people walking. Who's walking behind a bus? And if you're wandering behind buses in downtown Atlanta, emergency room wait times are not of your concern. They will fast-track you right through that line. What were you doing? Wandering downtown Atlanta, scanning buses. Get them in now. Get them in now. Look how much room is being taken up by this thing. Come on. Stop doing this. This is hurting me. This hurts my soul when I see these things happen. We are smarter than this. And then hopping into the world with social media is even crazier sometimes. Okay, I live in social media. I live on social media. I've been doing it for a long time. And if it wasn't for Justin Bieber, I'd be the most popular Canadian on Twitter. Bieber, screw me. But he's so adorable. So, the problem with social, we don't realize it. So for me, I have over 135,000 followers on Twitter. I've tweeted over 93,000 times. I've been on Twitter. I have 11,000 people on my Facebook page, fans, 4,000 LinkedIn contacts, 10,000 Google+. I do a lot of this stuff. And you have to understand something. Social media success doesn't exist. That social media does not make anything successful. It just amplifies things. Whatever you are currently, okay? If your product or service sucks, it just sucks harder in social media. It does not fix. Okay? If you're a jackass, you're just a jackass on Twitter, okay? It doesn't make you better at what you do. Social media to me is the great indicator of what we're saying and doing and thinking. But it's an indication of what's going on in the real world. So you don't even have to be on social for these things to hit about your company or not. It's good for you to listen, but I don't think everybody needs to be on social media. I'm not being sarcastic. I honestly don't. In this audience, if you're not on Twitter, or you're not on Facebook, it's okay. That's okay. I'm going to be one of the few people in my circles to say this to you. It is okay. You don't have to use Twitter. You don't have to use Facebook. You can keep doing your business and keep doing it well and never touch the things. But at least be aware of what they are and why they're there and how they're being used. I think there's good reasons not to use social media. If you have no time, it's not the good time to go on Twitter. If you have 2 minutes a week, do not try to start up Twitter. Okay, it's like walking to a networking event saying, how's it going, everybody? I gotta go. Right? Walking out the room, you're not gonna get anything from networking, and that's what social is. To me, Twitter is like a networking event. It's a virtual networking event. The same rules apply. Don't sell something to people at the event, just like on Twitter. Don't talk about your whole self the whole time, just like on Twitter. And don't do it drunk. It's very simple rules, right? Like I was saying before, nothing good comes out of your phone after 8 p.m. Nothing. Ever. Nobody ever was happy about sending that midnight tweet, or the midnight text, right? The all caps text never goes over well when you wake up the next morning, so be careful. The other reason I don't think you should use something like Twitter is if you hate people. You don't go. There are a lot of people there. Don't go with this place. I really think a lot of people shouldn't use it. I think a lot of executives shouldn't use Twitter. I think a lot of celebrities and athletes shouldn't use Twitter. Anybody who's been buffered from the public for any given time shouldn't have sudden unfiltered access to the public, right? That's scary. That is very, very scary. Did you see the CFL player a few weeks ago did the tweet about OJ? Did any of you see it? He said something about he just bought OJ's gloves from eBay, and now he just has to find himself a white woman. That's what he tweets. I think he was a Stampeder. Figures. I think he was a Stampeder or something. And he said that, and that was his tweet. He's like, I don't see the problem. That's my sense of humor. I'm like, you're an asshole. Like, that's your sense of humor is being a jackass. Be careful. I don't think CEOs who have had an assistant, a PR person, a communication person between them and the public for 30 years decide to start saying stuff. It's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And it can hurt you. It can hurt your brand. But one of the things about Twitter is I didn't even get it when I first joined. I joined in April 2008. And I didn't get it. I got on there, I'm like, this is just stupid. Like, Jeff just had soup. I'm like, I don't care. Why are you telling me this? I just tweeted, I'm having soup. And I just sent it out there, and I dabbled for 8 months. I didn't get it. I somehow managed to get 1,200 followers in 8 months. And then January 1st, 2009, I decided to live on Twitter for 30 days. And I went from 1,200 followers to 10,000 followers. That big red bar is January 2009. That's the number of tweets per month. I tweeted almost 7,000 times. When I say I lived on Twitter, I lived on Twitter. I woke up in bed on Twitter. I think I slept tweet a few times. You ever on your phone in bed? Anybody horizontally? phone at all? Text or tweet? Some of you do, don't you? You ever drop your phone on your nose? Oh, God, that hurts. I've had 3 knee surgeries. I right now have a torn rotator cuff. I have 9 tattoos up on my arms here. Nothing hurts as much as that phone hitting that bridge of your nose from 4 inches away. And then you look around to see if anybody saw it. Like, nobody saw it. I gotta tweet this, right? I gotta tell people on Facebook right now what just happened, right? That's the problem. It hurts relationships too. You know, in bed, and the girlfriend's like, good night. Like, oh, good night, baby. What are you doing? I'm just saying good night to Twitter. What? And she gets up. Well, where are you going? She doesn't understand me. And you know, something I'm telling the world, right? So I didn't understand it. And I went from 10,000 followers, like I said, now I have over 135,000 followers. I've tweeted over 92,000 times. And those numbers mean nothing. I don't want any of you leaving today thinking about either of those numbers. They mean nothing. There's one number I want you to walk away with today. One number only. 75% of my tweets are replies. This number has been the same from 1,000 tweets to 90,000 tweets. 75% of my tweets are replies. Twitter is a conversation, not a dictation. And that's about Twitter, so that'll go retweet like crazy. You do that, that's the secret. But actually in the past 2 months, I checked it again, just for the past 2 months, I've actually had 88% replies. That's, you want the secret to Twitter? Ask the people in this room who know social, who've done social, who are good at social. That's how it works. You want to do well, you want traction, you want people to share your stuff, you get to know them. You talk with them. You get to know people on Twitter. So when they ask you to come up with Salmon on your book tour stuff, you say, oh, hell yes. And you do these things because you've gotten to know them. That's how it works. That's what social media is. It's the term social. That's the point. You want to excel at it, and you be freaking social. That's what it is. You don't need a 3-year course on this crap. You want to do it well? Talk to the damn people. You don't want to do it well? Yell at them. Well, I yell at them, but you don't have to yell at them, right? Does that make sense? We need to do it right. We need to do it well because it's shifted. We really have shifted communication. I think it's very exciting, and also really kind of scary in some businesses too. We don't have to be scared for it. It's just networking, it's talking, if you understand that it works. Because branding's in real time. What we do is in real time now. It used to be, if you sent in an inquiry or a complaint to a brand or a company, they could get back in 7 to 9 days or 7 to 9 weeks or maybe never. If any of you on Facebook say something on a brand's page or you tweet a brand, an active brand, how fast do you expect a reply? Anybody? Right away, right? Within hours, same day. Our expectation of resolution has shrunk to next to nothing. I think that's good as a consumer. I love it. And business is very scary, very scary. And they should be. The power's coming back to us as consumers. And that's what I love about it, because we're the ones paying for this stuff, and it should be coming back to us, and I love that fact. And we have opportunities. So the brands that understand it and do it right, they're smart. Here's an example I tweeted. If anyone has a contact at Kudu Mobile, please message me. My little brother said nothing but problems and no resolution. My family only talks to me when they want me to tweet something. My brother's like, can you go tell Tweezer that my phone's not working? Okay, I'll go on Bookface too and tell them. It's like, yeah, thanks, man. It's my little brother. He's 22, by the way. He's little. I tweet this. You know what Kudu's response was? This is a year ago. You know what the response was? Nothing. They still haven't responded, by the way. But Virgin Mobile Canada, in 6 minutes, replied, your little bros has switched to Virgin Mobile. Just saying. How good is that? So what was my reaction when I saw that? Like, oh, you're good. And I wrote back to them, guess what company he's with now? Them. I put 5 phone plans for these guys. It's worth over $4,000 a year to them. There's no ROI in Twitter, I think again. There's ROI in Twitter if you're awesome at it, if you know what you're doing at it. And she hooked them up with privately in direct messages. But Virgin Mobile's not good at Twitter. Tally, the girl who does their account, is good at Twitter. That's the difference. Put somebody who knows how to talk with people on Twitter. That's why I actually have no problem with brands having somebody outside the company do their social, if they're good. If they're good, they can represent the brand properly, and they can get answers for the brand quickly. I think if you have nobody in your company and you just want to say, just take it, don't do that. Mandatory engagement is a bad call. Find somebody good. I don't care if it's a consultant, an agency, or somebody in your company who's not a PR person, but is really good with people. Find that that social media star, inside or outside, and this can happen. If they're good, if they love it, then fine. You don't want to learn it? Cool. Find somebody who knows it and let them run. Let them run with it. There's something you can do because there's an ROI. People say to me, well, Scott, they talked to you and they hooked up your brother because you've got a big deal on Twitter. They didn't hook him up like they think. They hooked him up with free voicemail. He's 22. Nobody phones him. It's like hooking me up with free fax service. It's nice of you, but I'm not going to use it. Thank you. He pays just like anybody else. I'm not getting a freebie because I have followers. It's the same, it's business. Now on the flip side of this, here's a friend of mine, Jessica, who tweets, note that even if T-Mobile service doesn't work for you after you purchase it, they will not waive the early termination fee. And she copies T-Mobile help Twitter account in there. How would you reply to this? This person's upset, right? They're upset. How would you reply to this? Maybe it's pretty simple. We're sorry about this, Jessica. We'd really love to help you out. Please send us a private message with your account number. Something like that, right? Because obviously you look at this and realize she's gone all caps thrice in this tweet. If you look, 3 times. That just set off 3 alarms in your head. By the way, there's 2 groups of people you should never take off in this world. 2 groups. Geeks and moms, right? And if you piss off a geek mom, look out. Just drop the stuff and run. That's what you should really do. So that's pretty much how we reply, right? Look how many retweets it already had when she originally said it. 150 people almost sent it out right when she had tweeted it. And their response was, we're sorry it didn't work for you, not to sound rude, but after buyer's remorse, you're under contract. Well, that's problem solved. Let's go to the next tweet, team. Let's do this. No. So how do you think she reacted to this? She looked at it and said, oh, I understand your point. Thank you for your time. Or she wrote a blog post in all caps, freaking out about them. And she has 96,000 followers, right? But even if she had 9, this is not. If you're going to start off anything in business or in life with the phrase, not to sound rude, don't say it. It also falls into the same category as nothing personal or no offense. It's going to be personal and offensive, whatever you're about to say. So just take it out of your vocabulary. Take it out of your business communication. Be very careful. Now, this is what I want to explain. This is my favorite part of the new book. It's called Third Circle. And for the decade or so that I ran on the agency side of my stuff, we did a lot of word-of-mouth things, a lot of viral marketing, as we call it, just why things are spread, why we share stuff. Now, the majority of sharing happens through social, and the majority of that happens through Facebook. That's where we share most of our content. So this is what we call Third Circle. And what I mean by this is you as an individual, this is you as a brand, whatever that is. And you share something. You blog something, you send a press release about something, you tweet it, you create a picture, blog post, video, product, whatever that is, you share it. And it reaches your first circle. This is your friends, your fans, your followers, your customers, your subscribers, your likes, whatever that is, your family, whatever that is. And a certain percentage of these people will always see it. There's no challenge in getting a certain percentage of the first circle to see your stuff. They're already connected to you. And a certain percentage of these people will also always share your stuff. There's always going to be somebody who likes your status on Facebook for some reason, even if it's weird. You ever have somebody like something on Facebook from you a little too quickly? It's like, I'm having spaghetti. Jeff likes this. Simmer down, Jeff. Why do you like the fact I'm having spaghetti? I don't understand, right? It's kind of weird. Now, those people in the first circle that share your content, a lot of times they're doing what we call sharing conditionally. What we mean by that is that when they share it, there's a reason. Now, there could be a multitude of reasons. One is maybe you owe them money, or they owe you money, and they want to share it. Maybe one of the reasons is they work for you, and they're kissing your ass. But that happens a lot. Your employee will share it just to make yourself look good in front of you. They might share something because they think you're attractive. It's an actual real reason some people will share some stuff, right? Some people will share it because they like the person. Let's say I share some content, and you've already read my book, or you've read both books, so you already like my stuff. Does this make sense? You're preconditioned to already like my next thing I put out, because you already like my... So you give me the benefit of the doubt. It makes the content a little better, because you already know me behind that. So you know the intent and the sarcasm and all this other stuff. So if I sent a QR code and I just went, oh, come on. And you saw, you know my rank, so you might share it. But the difference is, when you share the content, it goes to the second circle, which is your first circle, which is my second circle. That circle has no condition with me for the most part. They have no brand umbilical cord attached to me. So when you share the inside joke that we have to them, They don't get it. Or if you share my blog post, which isn't maybe that good this week, but you loved all my other things, so you're going to share it anyways, they don't share it. There's no attachment to me. I don't work for you. I don't owe you money. I don't like you. I don't even know you. So they only share content based on content alone. This is the true level of content. And when they share it, it goes to the third circle. And this is where you need to aim any of your content. Your blog posts, your brand updates on Facebook, anything you put out there, videos. This is who you should be making your content for. The third circle. The content shares and spreads by the content alone and nothing else. This is why contests never make it usually outside of the first circle. Because nobody will get it. They won't see it. That's why if you see a page giving away an iPad for a draw to get likes, it won't fly outside of the first circle usually because it's artificial. And people will sell their own mother for an iPad now. So it doesn't even matter. It won't even get you anything except a lot of people who want a free iPad. That's all it does. So you gotta be careful. The content will make it past that. The biggest videos we had over 65 million views of client videos when we used to do this work. The ones that hit the third circle were the ones that got millions and millions and millions of views because they were unconditional. The biggest mistake by videos that companies make and corporations make is that the videos are about the company. And if I'm not your customer, I don't give a rat's ass about your company. I'm not gonna share it. As an example of that, here's a watermelon. I didn't have to tell you that, but that's a high-res watermelon right there, kids. So, yeah, drink it in. It's pretty sweet. I paid $37 for that watermelon on iStock. You bet your ass I'm using it this time. I had to speak in Monterey, California at a Produce Association event, and so I wanted to make it topical. So I need to leave it up on the screen right now a little longer because I want to get a better ROI on it. So. Okay, we're good. So, if I share this watermelon on Facebook and you're my Facebook friend, you might like it because it's just weird and awkward, but that ain't getting outside of that second circle, right? If I carve that watermelon into a turtle and make it into a fruit bowl, you may share that in third circle that people get around it. This was shared on Pinterest, about 1,100 reprints. Anybody here on Pinterest? Anybody? Good. How great is that place, by the way? I love it. It is 97% women and me. Ain't making that up. It's a million pictures of shoes and recipes and Ryan Gosling with no shirt on. And sometimes Ryan Gosling making a recipe with shoes. So, it's amazing. But that's the difference of why we share stuff and why we share content. You see the difference between that where it's just nothing that's my brand. It's the watermelon company, but nobody cares. And there's a really cool thing if you want to share with a recipe attached to it that works. Here's another example. Here's a dog. This is not my dog. This is a model dog, but I do have a dog. My hot dog is a long-haired bulldog named Kirby. He's amazing, and he's a freak show, and he rips and tears everything in the house, and I love him to death. But if I share a picture of my dog, and somebody shares it on Facebook or Twitter, and you don't know who I am, you don't care about my dog, do you? You think you're going to be nice, like, oh, I would, you wouldn't. But say if I share a picture of my kid, unless my baby is inside a watermelon in an Ann Getty's photo or something like that, you're not sharing somebody else's picture of their kids if you don't know them. That'd be awkward as well. But you wouldn't do that, right? You'd never do that, right? You'd never share a picture of my dog if you didn't know my dog. But if I shared a picture of a dog getting hit in the coin purse with a tennis ball, you may share it. Second circle, third circle. Second, third. We understand now, class, the difference between two things. Here's the problem, though. This has been viewed like 4 million times. Because it's awesome. But this is the problem. The data says this goes viral. I don't want people in corporations sitting around saying, if we hit animals in the garage, just hold Rex down. I got a tennis ball machine here. Just hold! Get the picture. Don't do it, right? It's just amazing what gets spread and what doesn't, but you have to understand the difference between content. But this is your content. Most of us are making this. Well, we need to make this. That's the difference. We need more brands getting hit between the legs. That's what can really happen. That's the difference. Because we share stuff we love, okay? We share stuff that's great. We share stuff that's amazing. If the person beside you is not laughing, can you explain it to them? Please? I don't want to. This is a family show. I don't want to say it. All right, so this is amazing, by the way. I know a lot of you, I have some good friends that live in Wisconsin. Seriously, I have some good friends that live in Wisconsin. This explains them perfectly. This explains the whole state really well, by the way. I would travel to Wisconsin just to take a picture with this logo. That's how great it is. And then they changed it to this. And I'm like, what the why would they do that? You know, that's your indication of what the first one meant, by the way. See, the first one had to go through like 12 levels of approval to hit the streets. Have none of those people been on the internet ever? Have none of them ever texted anybody in their life? Come on, seriously. But then they went and they UnAwesomed it. So, remember at the start when I said logos don't matter? This one matters. That's the only logo I've ever seen matter in my lifetime, and I want to go for the logo itself. So that's great. Because us as consumers and customers have been beaten down so much in the past few centuries, we've never had recourse. We have never had an ability to voice our concerns at any level of a platform until now. On Twitter, nobody has more than 140 characters. I don't, you don't, Pepsi doesn't, the government doesn't, nobody does. And that's what I love about it. We are all on the same playing field. And that means we can voice. People say people use Twitter and Facebook too much to complain. I'm like, that's good. I like it because we have recourse now. We can say stuff and make things that make places accountable. We can hold companies accountable for our money. I think that is a good thing. And why is it so much negative? Because we're letting it all out. We've had a few centuries of not having it come out. We need to let it out. You want to stop the complaining? You better. I was in Istanbul and I had a woman in the audience for a question and answer. She's like, hey, it's Scott, love to talk. So we're getting a lot of complaints about our product on Twitter. What should we do? Make a better product. She's like, oh, you know, you're funny. But really, how do we stop the complaints on Twitter? Still make a better product. You know, Twitter's not the problem, right? You don't have a social media problem, you have a product problem, right? That's the difference of it. So we complain and we do these things because we're so angry as consumers, we're so mad as consumers, that we do things like this. Who do you feel bad for, the customer or the server who has to clean this? Who do you feel bad for? And if you feel bad for the server, let me remind you something. This customer had the time and the privacy to go all caps ketchup on the counter. And then the perseverance and further time to underline in mustard. The server is not innocent in this equation. This picture viewed 5 million times. Why? It's awesome. That's why. Another example of this is a receipt from a restaurant where the customer wrote, I'm not pregnant, but thanks for the eating for two comment. Gentlemen in the room, can you listen to me for a second? Just listen real close. Never assume she's pregnant. Unless she tells you to your face, or you can see the head, do not assume she's pregnant. That was not endorsed by anybody here. I'm sorry. Sponsors remove themselves from that one at all. I'm sorry. This picture was taken by the woman who wrote it at the table at the restaurant. 5 million views in 24 hours. The power is in my pocket. The power is in our phones. I can reach 135,000 people in theory in 3 seconds. Everybody's the media now. Everybody can get exposure for things. That's why you need to treat people in your business like they are a journalist, because we are the people. We are the ones that spread it. You need to treat everybody in your business like they're influencers, because they are. Our reach of influence now is exponentially grown. Before, something, you ever heard the term, if it goes bad, good, you tell 3 people, if it goes bad, you tell 10. Now, if it goes good, you tell a bunch of people, and if it goes bad, you tell the world. We have to understand that we have the influence, and it doesn't matter how many followers you have. It really doesn't, because we understand. Here's an example from Papa John's Pizza in Broadway in New York. This girl tweets, hey, Papa John's, just FYI, my name isn't Lady Chinky Eyes. Okay? So, what happened here was, if you ever worked at a food counter-based business, they usually write down the person's name or a description of them so you know who to hand the pizza to, like blue hat, green jacket, racist, you know, whatever works for the business. This was the store copy of the receipt. They gave her the wrong one. Oops. And she took a picture of this. And now she only has 30 followers though, right? Who cares? She has 30 followers, except one.